Phew! Can you believe 2021 is nearly in the books already, John?
No, this year has absolutely flown by.
Ooh, it really has. And while it's not 2022 quite yet, now is the perfect time to pause and reflect for just a moment on what has happened in the streaming world this year and what's coming in 2022.
Yeah, cord cutters are asking so many questions right now as they look at the year ahead. Like, how much will streaming services raise their prices this year? Or how will RSNs and premium channels like HBO be impacted this year as all the streaming services seek to find the ceiling of what we are willing to pay?
Those are great questions. And although we don't have a crystal ball, we have done a lot of digging and reading to bring you 6 trends in the streaming market that could impact how you stream your favorite shows and sports.
Overall, as we look at the streaming space, we have to say that this is really the golden age of streaming. A CBS poll found that more Americans are cutting the cord than ever before. 5 years ago, 63% of Americans watched TV through cable or satellite. Today, less than 50% of Americans do so. And the number of people streaming TV has jumped by 17% to a total of 37%. That means that nearly 4 out of every 10 Americans are streaming TV as opposed to getting it through cable or satellite.
We have more options right now for watching our favorite channels and events without cable than ever before. And streaming services are competing with each other for our eyeballs. HBO Max Chief Content Officer Casey Bloys said, quote, "We're all in this race to end up as one of the top streaming services. Not everybody's going to survive. And my hope is that our programming makes us one of the must-haves," end quote. Content is king, and everyone from premium services like HBO Max down to major networks like ABC and CBS are racing to create the best of it.
Speaking of local networks, that poll we just mentioned earlier found that about 1 in 10 Americans watch TV through an antenna.
So, who's still using cable? Well, mostly older folks. A majority of Americans over 45 still subscribe to cable or satellite. But streaming is more popular than cable with people younger than 45, and only about 2 of every 10 Americans under age 35 have cable.
Yeah, there's clearly a break along generational lines when it comes to streaming, but we talk to older viewers all the time who are choosing to make the switch and move to streaming. And the fact that there's so much activity going on in the streaming market right now bears that out.
Yeah, and that trend continues when you look beyond the US at the global streaming market. Business Wire reports that the global video streaming market is expected to reach nearly $224 billion in the next 6 years. With another billion people around the world expected to get internet service by 2027, we expect this trend to increase. As the market matures here in the US, prices will undoubtedly go up, and the streaming market may eventually look more like cable. But for now, consumers have the leverage. We can shop around to get the channels we want at the best price possible.
And our streaming trends reflect that reality, starting with our first one, the growth of free services. The Streamable goes so far as to call free streaming services like Pluto TV, Tubi, and the Roku channel the unstoppable cable killer. In the third quarter of 2021, these services announced huge growth on their earnings calls.
53% of people watched TV through free services in October. That's huge. Pluto will become a $1 billion business and accounted for the majority of Viacom CBS's ad revenue growth in 2021. Now, Fox owns Tubi, and it said that expectations continue to exceed what they had forecasted for the free service, noting that time spent on Tubi grew by 30% in 2021. If you haven't already, watch our video on the best free streaming services to see which one or ones you'd enjoy.
And while these services have commercials, so do all live TV streaming services and anything that's not on demand. Plus, free streaming services are adding content all the time, including some original content, which is our next trend.
Roku, which is known more for its streamlined app-forward streaming devices, will roll out 50 new original shows in the next 2 years, starting with a special spin off the series Zoe's Incredible Playlist called Zoe's Extraordinary Christmas, just in time for the holidays. Roku has sent a signal out to production companies telling them that they are looking for half-hour, hour-long, and feature-length shows, though they do seem to be gravitating towards original series.
And they're starting to put some money behind their efforts. saying they're willing to pay up to $750,000 per episode of unscripted content and as much as $5 million per scripted episode.
So, why are Roku and others pouring money into creating original content? Really, it's a way to keep people on their channels. The average household watches 7 to 8 hours of TV a day. The more of that time someone like Roku or others can get people to stay on their channel, the better.
Definitely, because there are so many services, free and paid, creating awesome original content. And because people can switch services fee-free, there's a whole lot of churning going on, which is our third trend.
Now, churn is the rate at which streaming services lose subscribers. And John's right, there's a lot of it going on. Deloitte predicted that as the streaming market matures, churn could rise to as much as 30% in various markets. In the US, churn is already at 35%. And at least 150 million subscribers are expected to cancel streaming subscriptions next year. Peacock is losing so many subscribers that they are actually losing money for each new subscriber they gain. Its goal is to gain 35 million users by 2024, and it's well on its way to doing that. But to break even on the cost of creating, promoting, marketing, and producing content for its streaming service, NBCU needs to make $7 to $8 in revenue per subscriber. In reality, they're actually losing more than $8 per user they acquire.
Yeah, Comcast announced Peacock spent more than $520 million, but only generated $230 million in revenue during the third quarter of this year. You don't have to be a math genius to know that those are horrible numbers.
That could be why Comcast announced it's considering pulling its content from Hulu, which it's a part owner of, to put on Peacock. Now, that may not bother Hulu, though, as Disney CEO Bob Chapek announced that it's going to invest another $2 billion in original content for Hulu, bringing total original content investments to around $7 billion. Disney is the majority owner in Hulu.
Speaking of Disney, at its annual meeting, Disney reported ESPN continues to lose cable subscribers. This year, it lost another 10% to 76 million households. Meanwhile, it increased streaming subscribers by 66% to 17 million subscribers.
Yeah, this could be why Hulu Live raised its rates by $5 a month and added ESPN Plus and Disney Plus automatically into its base package. If it is, it makes sense. It allows them to keep their streaming subscribers up and justify a price increase. But it's also testing the market to find the ceiling and see what people are willing to pay to stream live TV, which is our fourth trend.
The top live TV and on-demand streaming services raised their monthly rates in 2021. Hulu and Disney Plus each raised their rates by $1 a month. Netflix increased its price a little over a year ago, upping the cost of the basic service by $1 a month and higher price plans by $2 a month in October of 2020.
Yeah, and on the live side of things, YouTube TV increased its cost by $5 a month last year. This year, Hulu Live, Sling, and Philo did the same. DirecTV Stream raised rates by $10 a month in March, back when it was still called DirecTV Now and then AT&T Now.
So when you look at what you're subscribed to and wonder if your rates will go up in 2022, it's helpful to think through when the last time a service raised rates. If it's been a while, then a price hike is definitely more than likely. But really, any of these services can raise their rates at any time. As one does it, others will watch to see what kind of churn they see. If churn stays within acceptable levels, you can bet other services will follow suit and raise their rates.
And the one most likely to raise rates next is fuboTV. It raised its rates to $65 in July of 2020, and it seems poised to be the next live TV streaming service to raise its rates.
Yeah, fuboTV CEO David Gandler went on CNBC and said that if anyone can afford to raise prices on consumers, it's going to be Fubo. His reasoning is the amount of sports Fubo carries. Gandler said 96% of Fubo subscribers watch sports. That far outweighs the 30% of cable customers that watch sports.
And if there's anything that people are willing to pay for, it's sports, which is our next trend. Regional sports networks and how you're going to be able to get them in 2022. Currently, the only way to access all of your local regional sports networks, or RSNs, is through DirecTV Stream's Choice Plan, which costs $84.99 a month at time of filming. As we discussed in our DirecTV Stream versus fuboTV review, Fubo is adding more, and it's the next best option, as other services carry few or none.
Looking ahead to 2022, Sinclair Broadcast Group, which controls access to the RSNs, has said it is looking at launching its own streaming service for the RSNs. A price of $23 a month has been circulating as a potential fee. And it just inked a deal with the NHL for the rights to offer an in-market direct-to-consumer streaming service for 12 teams. As part of the deal, it will also offer TV Everywhere access to Bally Sports RSNs for in-market streaming to cable and satellite subscribers. Post-game highlights will be shared on the Bally Sports app.
Sinclair CEO Chris Ripley says his company is in active negotiations with the NHL and NBA for streaming rights, as well as with the MLB for rights to stream games from 4 teams. It will be interesting to watch this niche of the sports world play out in the year ahead, and it really makes us think that the ability to watch NHL games at least could be possible directly through Bally Sports.
Another item of interest to sports fans is NFL Sunday Ticket. Multiple media companies have been in discussions with the NFL to get this primo media property, but Disney and Amazon seem to be the closest to actually inking a deal. Disney CEO Bob Chapek said on CNBC that Disney is in discussion with the NFL for exclusive rights to carry Sunday Ticket as part of its ESPN Plus streaming service. Rumor has it that Amazon Prime Video is also interested in becoming the potential home for Sunday Ticket.
Currently, Amazon is in talks to buy a minority stake in NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. Could this lead to it landing NFL Sunday Ticket rights? Well, the only thing we know for sure is that DirecTV is not going to keep Sunday Ticket, so 2022 could bring some interesting changes there. Now let's move on to our final streaming trend, mergers. As the market matures, mergers are an inevitable result. Mergers can be good or bad for consumers. In this case, there are some interesting ones being bandied about.
Of course, the biggest merger right now is between HBO parent company Warner Media and Discovery Networks.
Once approved, the entire Discovery Plus streaming library could merge with that of HBO Max, creating a massive and compelling on-demand streaming option offering a plethora of scripted, unscripted, adult-oriented, original content, plus a killer movie library.
Yeah, and AT&T's CFO said he expects the merger to be complete during the first half of 2022 and stated that HBO Max bundle will be available to AT&T wireless customers even after the Discovery merger.
Well, that does it for this state of streaming video. We will keep watching the trends and reporting on them for you in the months ahead with new YouTube shorts that we are going to start creating and releasing so that you can stay informed, because doing so helps you make sure you choose the best option for your viewing needs.
Yeah, let us know what we missed in the comments below. Who do you think will end up with NFL Sunday Ticket? Would you love to see Discovery Plus content on HBO Max? And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can get all our latest news and reviews when they drop. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.